Kennedy signs. We've got a Flanders again. It's won by Wellington. Oh, that's it, Wellington. They're going to win the Shield for the first time since 2008. What has been a thrilling contest. No quarter asked or given over the course of the 83 minutes. They celebrate, they get this ball out in the Ranfurly Shield. We'll be going to Wellington. After some seasons of inconsistent form, Wellington, they find the right plan and execution tonight here at McLean Park to win the Ranfurly Shield since 1901.
Well
good.
done. Congratulations, mate. Well done. Wellington, 2, Mickey.
2, Mickey. Yeah, finally got the Shield. Might be able to get a new jersey signed since the last time we won it. So, yes, that's how old that jersey is, signed by the last Ranfurly Shield winning team. Welcome all. Welcome to the Rugby Chat for September the 20th, 2022, the day they've finally laid Her Majesty to rest. So hopefully everyone got plenty of shut-eye over the night here in New Zealand anyway, because it was on quite late. I tried to stay up all night, but I couldn't do it. But no, Wellington, Ranfurly Shield holders, and who do we have next?
Waikato. Beauty. It's going to be a stormer this weekend, isn't it?
Oh, I know. I was expecting you to be wearing your Waikato stuff, but you're wearing your harbour gear. What's going on?
Harbour had a great win, 48-21 over Northland. Waikato had a bit of a hiccup in their season. All harbour today, but certainly be wearing all my red, yellow, and black uniform over the weekend as we bring the Shield back to Mulu country.
No, you got to give us at least a bit of a tenure. I mean, I'm sick and tired of Wellington only having it for 5 days or 6 days and then giving it up. It would be quite nice to win that. And I'll just have a quick look at the draw as we go forward. Of course, Saturday. If they win that, I'm just going to see if we lock it away. And we will. So if we can win that, we can hold it for more than 5 days. We can hold it for at least 10 months. So
she'll be a goodie.
She'll be a goodie because you don't play for the Ranfurly Shield in the semi-final. So that's a blessing in disguise. So if we can walk away with that, that would be great. So, awesome weekend, though, of rugby all around the place. I'll just move this fancy new screen that we've got over here.
Congrats to you again, Kevin, obviously not just for Wellington, but for getting 20,000 followers on your Heartland rugby page. That's a great achievement, mate. Great milestone. Well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's taken a while. We're still a couple hundred away from likes, but the follows are just as important because at least people are keeping an eye on their news feed of what we're having a chat about. And if you've got any questions for Jeff or I, just throw them in the comment section, both at Rugby Redefined or the Heartland Rugby pages, and hopefully we can answer your questions. But yeah, no, it's great. And I've got some big news coming up very shortly in regards Rugby Heartland and a new association that we have got going forward. And so keep an eye out for that, because it's going to benefit every rugby club in New Zealand, provincial, club, social, the whole lot. So that is something really exciting to watch out for, a new partnership that we've been working on, and we'll be able to help out every club in New Zealand. So that's something really, really big to look forward to in the coming weeks. So,
Ooh, looking forward to it, mate. What is it? Tell us.
I can't tell. No, I'll keep everyone on tenterhooks. I think I'll keep everyone on tenterhooks, because it is that big. I'm still writing the media release, put it that way. And I have to pass it by the powers that be above me. Even though there is people above me, just make sure we got the wording right, and don't step on toes. So, but yeah, it's exciting. I'm pumped and amped and raring to go. So we'll kick off straight away with Heartland, and what a weekend of matches. And we had everything from last chance Hail Mary kicks at goal by West Coast. We had guys running around streaking with socks on. We had a demolition in the wire wrapper, and Wanganui got away with a very fortuitous bonus point in Gisborne. So we'll just quickly run through the results there. Of course, the big game in the weekend on TV was North Otago Horowhenua, and 89 points to 23 puts in perspective the 71-10 hiding that the Buller Boys got a couple of weeks earlier. But then Mid-Canterbury beat North Otago the following week. So it's really hard to gauge what's going on there. You win by 70, get beaten, and then win by 80. You know, it's like, what? But big shout out to Ben McCarthy from North Otago, who broke the Heartland Championship record for most points in a game with 29 with a try and 12 conversions. So I wonder when the Highlanders will snap him up to get him into the mix at the Highlanders or Otago or Canterbury. Oh, he'll probably go to Canterbury. You know, that's what will happen. Canterbury always take the best players. Your thoughts on that game? Did you get to see it while you were up playing golf up in bloody Bay of Islands or wherever you were?
Yeah, no, I didn't see it. I saw those highlights. I saw the streaker. I thought that was my highlight of the weekend. I thought, and the fact that the goal kicker, the name escapes me, the fact that he just kept his head down and nailed it from the sideline, even though a streaker ran right in front of him. So, you know, some of my friends and family thought he was an idiot. Others just think he's a legend. Just depends on the way you think about things. I mean, obviously, if did it in an All Black test, he'd be a bloody idiot. But the fact that it was, 80 points, the game was well and truly over. I thought that was a classic bit of TV there.
Oh, it certainly was. And the kicker was, of course, Ben McCarthy, who nailed his 12th conversion. And it was a good kick, too, from out wide. But, hey, big ups to the chap. It didn't matter how the camera was going to cut away from him, he still would have been in the camera shot. So it was well planned. He really studied the camera angles of what would happen because, and as you said, the kick at the keeper's call and slot it from wide was brilliant. So then we move on to the Bill Osborne Tionga game and Arthur Wicks Trophy up at Ruatoria, where West Coast were up there to wrestle the Bill Osborne away from Ngāti Porou. And, going by Palora Booking's commentary, you would think the referee was French. The game just wouldn't stop. It was like, okay, that's it. It's over. But West Coast had a chance right at the end. They ended up having to take a Hail Mary penalty. Unfortunately, Ben Winus, I think it was, drifted it wide. And East Coast win number 3 and another 2 trophies back in the cabinet. One more win and they'll have their best season since 2012. So are we seeing the resurgence of Ngāti Porou East Coast?
Ngāti Porou East Coast, awesome. Full credit there, Jose Gear. He's obviously done a pretty good job, doing a very good job there, and firing those boys up. But I listened to your radio show last night on Sen's Radio Sport. I'm glad Ricardo had you up about your West Coast prediction there too. But good on you, mate. You haven't backed down. You fronted up. You faced up. You're taking it on the chin. But I don't think West Coast is going to win that championship, mate.
No, he's in my hat just for. Yes. I missed the last couple of weeks having a chat with Ricardo on Sens. He was filling in, I believe, for Ian Smith in the Day Show. So, thanks for getting me back on the air and pulling me up on that. I still think West Coast can be a little Hall Cup scraping, but battle this week with the wooden spoon. But we'll get to that in a minute.
It's just that consistency in that comp, isn't it? As you said, like you look at North Otago, 70 points against Buller, 80 points against Horowhenua, and then they go and lose to Mid Canterbury. They've got 2 losses this year, but their wins are massive. So, they're a genuine contender, but it depends what North Otago team turns up. I think it's South Canterbury's title to lose, to be honest. I think they're certainly the top side there in that division. But, Thames Valley's impressed me as well. So I think, as you said last night on that show, you hit it on the head. There's probably 6 teams there fighting out the last, 2 spots in that top 4.
Oh, definitely, because we've got like last week when we had teams playing Buller, we had fourth playing fifth, or third playing fourth, or something like that. And now this week we'll have teams playing North Otago again, third versus fourth. So a lot of them are going to be knocking each other out of that contention. And then, as I said, with Wanganui, you never back against the Butcher Boys, and they did have a shocker, really. They walked away with 5 points from Gisborne. That's great. They got up by 32 points to 24, but they were missing something. I know they've had some suspensions and injuries, but don't write off the boys from Wanganui. I think they're going to be tough. Buller's got a tough job up at Cook's Gardens this weekend when they travel up there. And, if they can keep in Kui and maybe pick up a bonus loss point, Buller will find that a success. But then, you look at how Buller's gone. Last week they won the 225th Rundle Cup, or 225th meeting between them and West Coast in a dramatic, final minute try and injury time try, should I say. And then, they just unfortunately didn't show up. Reports I had was they were almost playing touch rugby on Saturday against Thames, and Thames just took the advantage there and blew them off the park. So, so the Swamp Foxes are still there. They're playing up at Mercury Bay this weekend. So it's good to see that some of these rep games are getting out and about, which then also brings me to South Canterbury. I had already, as I said last night on the radio, preordered is the word I'm looking for, the ambulances to be at Memorial Park in Masterton. Even though I'm a Wybush fan, supporter, work for them even, I knew this was going to be a hiding, and they got thumped.
Yeah, it's a bit sad to see for Wadded Upper Bush. I remember growing up the 80s there, and you've got, the Bush were in the Division 1 for quite a while. They churned out a lot of good players, etc. Brian Lahore was coaching, and just to see the sort of deterioration. I guess every union goes up and down like that, don't they? But to see them right at the bottom of that Heartland Championship's a bit demoralising for them.
It certainly is. They are celebrating the 50 years, which was postponed from last year because of the, and but they, they've got a good team. They really do have a good team, but they've just, there's just something that hasn't clicked there this season. They are keeping it local, which is great, but maybe moving forward they may need to start looking at some of these teams that are doing well with good loan players. They're allowed 3 and a player of origin. So nothing against the loan players they've got this year. They've got some good loan players there in Doug Jusak, Ben Brooking, and James Coburn. But maybe they need to look at the first fives and stuff like that. But no, it's exciting. And but South Canterbury, as you said, are going far too strong. And this week, though, they are playing Poverty Bay at I think they're playing at Mackenzie, something like that. It's just gone off the top of my head now where they're playing. Hang on, let me just quickly pull that up. Oh, at Waimate. And it's been 95 years since Waimate have hosted a game. 95 years ago, they hosted North Otago, one of the North Otago's first games. And it's taken 95 years to get the game back to Waimate, which brings up the point. Fraser Park in Timaru is undergoing reconstruction. So that's why they've been taking it to Currao, Waimate, Temuka. Where would the final be played if South Canterbury hosted the Meads Cup final?
Good question. I think it's great to share those venues around like that too. How cool to be to be in Waimate this weekend and watch South Canterbury play. So, but yeah, a final. It's going to generate a bit more of a crowd. So you got to obviously look at who can host and the crowd size and just being able to accommodate that crowd. Your toilets, your car parking, etc. So would they take it outside of South Canterbury?
No, I'd say they'll keep it there. There is plenty of places they could have it. I was down there, and there's plenty of grounds around that could probably cater for it. So I'll have to get in touch with my buddy Jeremy Sutherland and find out what his plans are. He's the current president, I believe. So,
some good games in there leading into the test this weekend. In there, that Thames Valley North Otago game, I think, is the game of the round. Obviously, the televised games are biggie as well. If East Coast can get up over King Country, all of a sudden, especially with a 5-point or a bonus point win there as well, they propel themselves into the top 4. So yeah, very, very cool. We'll keep an eye on those on Saturday for sure, eh?
Oh, definitely. I've already sent out the invitations to come around, and buddies have already said, bugger, I better get the housework done. Looks like we've got a busy Saturday ahead because we do have that game on at 2:30 from Tikawiti, King Country East Coast, and then we've got the Black Ferns playing.
Or the homebrew whiskey, is it? Is the homebrew whiskey you'll be on, or is it the rum you made?
Oh, I'll be on everything. We'll be doing shooters. We'll be doing cocktails. We'll be doing beer.
Just to the audience, we drink responsibly here, right?
Oh yes. All in moderation. But it's handy to have your own still.
For the first half hour anyway.
It certainly is. But yeah. So sitting down in front of in front of the TV though, as I said, you've got the King Country East Coast game on at 2:30. You got the Black Ferns playing Japan on at 4:30. You've got the
Wellington
Shield on at 4:35. Then we've got the All Blacks. Then we've got South Africa playing Argentina at 2:00 in the morning. Might still be up. Might be half cut by then. But huge games, and of course all the teams. And just having a quick look at the draw here. So Thames Valley will, in theory, be having a live stream on their Facebook page. Whanganui will be having a live stream on their Facebook page. Horowhenua, unsure. They sometimes do, sometimes don't. West Coast Wairarapa, we may have a live stream there. If not, we'll be doing commentary on the tryback, which yours truly keeps an eye on. And South Canterbury will also be hopefully bringing us a live feed from Waimate. So you can still catch up with all these games. Do what I do, go out and buy another monitor, extend your screen, and have all the games on it. Can be done. So anyway, who's going to be the top 4 at the end of this weekend? Well, you would have to say South Canterbury, King, Whanganui. And then I'm going to go for an upset. I'm going to go for North Otago to beat Thames Valley because they'll have their tails up and rearing to go. And they'll be probably playing in the blue, not the traditional old gold, which will be a bit of a different scene to watch. Bulla, I think they will drop down. East Coast and King Country, I'm going to go for East Coast to upset here. They were unlucky last season against King Country, and going down to them. So I'm going to go for, maybe if I quickly look at the table as we sit, say a 4 or 5 point win to East Coast, competition points, that is. We could see East Coast in 4th place by the end of this weekend.
Yep.
How good?
Yeah,
I mean, really, how good? As you mentioned earlier, Jose has done awesome. He's built on last year, and I'm sure a new harbour boy and our captain Hone Harawira is a bit disappointed he's not there to be there again this year, because he's gone to chase the big money at harbour. God, you guys must have a big checkbook to get that guy playing for you.
I wish.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's Heartland. West Coast, Wairarapa. Well, I'm sorry, Wairarapa, but I think West Coast are not going to let you walk away from John Sturgeon Park with anything. And we've got a question. Brilliant. Hi, Rabs and Jeff. Rabs. So I must know, Des Allen. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Just wondering what your thoughts are on the senior third grades. I found Manawatu thirds more engaging. I can't even read it. Oh, and I've just hit my camera. Found Manawatu third division more engaging. Yes. Okay. Love the question.
I think it's a bit of tongue in cheek there, because the rugby championship is just, as we've talked about for the last few weeks on the show, haven't we? How the powers that be, the fish heads that sit around the boardroom table, just cannot get it right. And while we're having some great games, the format is just ridiculous, and we're going to harp on about it again. Here we are, all of a sudden we've got a home and away with Australia, yet we played South Africa twice over there, and Argentina had to play us twice here. How does that work out? It's just insanity, but it is what it is. And I think for pure entertainment, I love watching the club footy, the grassroots stuff. It's just throw the ball around. It's genuine. They're in there for the love of the game. So
totally.
Totally understand that.
Yeah, no, and also, like last weekend, we had Te Awamutu Sub-Union playing the New Zealand Army for the Peace Cup up there, celebrating Te Awamutu Sub-Union centenary, and that was a great game by all accounts. And it was also like the New Zealand Army also having celebrating the 75th anniversary of the 45-46 Kiwis. So, yeah, I mean, but when it comes to the reserve grades, yeah, I mean, using Wairarapa as an example, you got teams like Tuarangi, home of Ross Cooper and Andy Earle. You've got Pukatoi, who are unfortunately, due to work commitments, couldn't field a team this year. But, there's Masterton Red Star, some great names from the past playing in the reserves grade. And what I would like to is to mention is that sorry, a comment just popped up which made me laugh, and I'll get to it in a moment. Is that this is where the guys move up from hopefully the school age to get a bit more senior experience, and it is the grassroots. I mean, one Richie McCaw played for Curragh, back in the day. So no, definitely I do follow the reserve grades consistently because you just don't know who's coming through. Now, the reason I just laughed is, I'll put this up. This young chap here, Kevin, he is the one that is doing. If you don't follow his page on Facebook, go and check it out. New Zealand Provincial Rugby jerseys. He's on a mission to get every club jersey in New Zealand, and I applaud him for that, because I know how hard that is to do. But he is a King Country man. I believe he said his father was a centurion for King Country, but he's not really confident there, is he, Jeff? 12 and under?
Well, 12 and under. Come on, mate. If you're going to support King Country, go 13 plus. No, look, I've got a soft spot for King Country as well. King Country, Thames Valley. When I grew up in the Waikato, playing age grade rugby, we'd always play the Valley, play King Country. They were part of our sort of area, I guess, and we played them, on a yearly basis. Got to know a lot of those players as they came through the grades as well. So certainly got a soft spot there for King Country. Look, me personally, I don't care which way that goes. I just hope it's a great game. And the old saying, mate, may the best team win on the day. May rugby be the winner.
Yes, and as you can see, I'm all behind Nadi Pro East Coast. So, we Nazi. Whoop, whoop. So, otherwise, it's great that we're getting the questions in. As you mentioned earlier, we have passed 20,000 followers. So if you've got any questions for Jeff or I about New Zealand rugby or world rugby overall, just throw it in the comments and we'll try and answer it. We do go for about an hour. So, it seems to be the go now because we haven't even gone to the NPC yet. So I'm just going to pull up my fixtures page here now and say, we normally start off by going, and does that go through? Oh, yes, here we go. We normally carry on about what happened last weekend. And Waikato probably thought they were doing okay against Southland on Wednesday. We both picked them to beat. Well, no, actually, I went for Southland, didn't I, last week to beat Waikato?
You did, well done.
Well, I can't pick Waikato with you sitting there, so I had to go the other way, didn't I? No, Southland, high-scoring game. This is a point too. We're getting some great scoring, some great tries in the NPC. There is different. I've seen some of the United Rugby Championship in Europe just recently. That's just kicked off over there. We had the Rugby Europe Super Cup kickoff with teams from the minor nations in Europe. Sort of like a B division or a C division of the European Cup. And you see scores there of 95-0, 50-0, 60-0. But we've had some quite good high-scoring matches because not only did Waikato win on the Wednesday night, on Friday night, we had the sort of like the battlers this year, Taranaki and Manawatu, fight out a 34-24 scoreline. And then, my prediction almost came right on Saturday afternoon. Counties 39, Canterbury 44. So they weren't wiped off the park, were they, the Steelers?
No, and I think I'd predicted Canterbury quite easy in that one. But again, it's a great competition, isn't it? And the nature of the comp again. I hate to sound like a bloody broken record, but these Wednesday night matches are just. They're screwing teams up three games in a week, and it just depends on the luck of the draw or who you're playing from the odds pool or from the evens pool, and so it throws all your predictions out the window really. It's a survival of the fittest and survival of the smarts, I guess, as to knowing when to play your players, when to rest them, etc., and picking the right team from the opposite pool to be playing, because as I said, you don't want to be drawing Canterbury. You'd rather be drawing one of the minnows. I shouldn't even say the minnows, but the teams that aren't performing the best as well from the other pool. It's a lottery, really, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is. And I would like to know who coined the phrase Storm Week. I've only just started picking that up. They call, these teams that do play the 3 games in a week, they've coined it Storm Week. At first, when I first heard it, I thought they were talking about the Melbourne Storm and the NRL.
Yeah.
I'm going, what are they talking about? But the thing is, I suppose every team does go through that. So it's not like one team's had an advantage over another team. But the question would be, do you want to get that out of the way early in the season, or do you want to get your roll on at the end of a season?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. Who knows? For example, Taranaki have a midweek game this week, and then my Harbour boys front up against them on Sunday. So, and again, Taranaki's got to come up here to Harbour after playing a Wednesday night game and a tough game on Friday. So, it's a bit of a tough ask, but it is what it is. As you said, every team's got to go through it. I just can't. I don't know why it happens, but that is what it is.
And then the mighty Aucklanders escaped with a victory over Tasman, 30-27.
Yeah, they did escape, didn't they?
which now brings the question. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, does he play for the All Blacks this weekend?
Yeah, good question. Initially, when I was watching that test match last week and I saw Havili come off and then Tupaia come off, I thought straight away, wow, man, who's next off the rank here is going to be RTS. And then Geordie went into 12, and then there's a lot of talk, oh, well, this is great because now Will Jordan can play at fullback and put Jordan Barrett into 12. And I'm thinking, well, Geordie Barrett really hasn't had a lot of rugby at 12 as well. But then the same could be said of RTS as well. He's still very new to rugby union. So do you throw him straight into the fire there at Eden Park against Australia? And to me, it's a no-brainer. I'd put RTS in straight away because we don't want to lose, obviously. It's Eden Park, but he's got all these other players around him. It's not the end of the world if we do lose. We've got the Bledisloe Cup sewn up. And it's not as if RTS is going to be that difference between us winning and losing, but we've got to play him at some stage. He's classy. He's got the goods. Give him a shot. I don't want to see Geordie Barrett put into 12 simply because I think that it is working really effectively with Barrett and Jordan at the back there. They're alternating that fullback wing role. You've got a genuine out-and-out left winger in Caleb Clark. That seems to be working really well, that back three. If we do put Jordan to 15, then we've got to find a number 14. Is it Sevu Reece? What do we do there? So personally, yes, I'd love to see RTS in at 12 this weekend. Will he be in there at 12? I don't think so.
He may be on the bench.
Maybe. And look, at the end of the day, Havili may be cleared. He only went off for a HIA, head injury assessment. So he hasn't been diagnosed. I haven't heard any news around it, whether he's been diagnosed with concussion and he has to have that stand down. So I'd assume that Havili will probably be cleared to play.
Yeah, well, we'll dive a bit more into that after we've just finished talking about the NPC. And then, of course, 1912, eh? Yay! Finally, we got the bloody shield back after waiting 14 years to see it back in the capital. It was awesome to see my buddy Kerry Walsh, the president of Wellington Rugby Union, there with the shield after the game. Apparently, also, that's when Artie Savia's good wife gave birth to their new son. Now everyone's saying, is he going to call it Ranfurly? I think he should. I think it would be awesome. You do look at the Pacific Island peoples. They do like to name children after events. I've seen quite a few interesting Pacific Island names named after place names and events in history. So you couldn't go worse than having your new son called Ranfurly born on the day you won the Ranfurly Shield. Could you not?
Yeah, maybe a middle name for sure. I don't know, Ranfurly Savia. Yeah, it probably brings, it's got a nice ring to it.
It's got a lovely ring to it. So if you are watching this, Artie, there you go. Go for it. Ranfurly Savia, RS, a new RTS. TJ, there you go. Ranfurly TJ Savia, RTS, number 2. So big game this weekend. But it all kicks off. And then of course we had Bay of Plenty. I haven't updated my result on the website. How bloody slack of me. The Bay of Plenty game there against I'll just quickly pull it up on the old.
They played Southland. I think you said that Waikato played Southland a couple of minutes ago. They played Otago down there.
Yes.
And lost. Yeah.
Yes. And Otago won that by 27 points to 20. So I was just actually trying to find the Bay of Plenty Southland result.
Otago just went bang, bang, didn't they? They were down 2013. And then 2 tries in 2 minutes just changed that game just like that. I couldn't believe it. But credit to down there. I think Waikato subconsciously knew that they'd be playing for the Shield. I think they just sort of gave up and just were going to put it all in against Wellington, mate.
Yeah, okay. You go down there, Waikato, with all the stars in the world, and you still go down by 7. At least you walked away with a bonus point, I guess. But the other big game though was, of course, Bay of Plenty Southland. Just from memory there, 54-21, Bay of Plenty. If I just quickly go back there, that's the same scoreline. Waikato beat Southern by 54-24. So
Mm.
there seems to be a recurrence of
Well, the
results.
Waikato Wellington game has implications too for that, because both of them, they're 1 and 2 in that pool. So either team, if Waikato win, they're going to leapfrog ahead and be clear first. Wellington win, all of a sudden it becomes really congested, that top 4, and then you've got Bay of Plenty right there as well. So it's a pretty tight contest there for the top 4 in that pool.
All I want is us to win, so we've got the Shield till next year. So it can go around the region, the Wellington clubs, and everyone can get a chance to have a look at it instead of it just not even having enough time to gather dust. But the other game there, though, was up at, and this is going to upset our friend William, North Harbour played Northland up at Whangarei. Huge win for your Harbour boys, 48-21 up there. The way Northland have been playing, I was expecting that to be a much closer match.
Yeah, passes stuck. That was the key. Passes stuck this week, and they play an expansive game. I think if you look at offloads, I think North Harbour would be probably one of the top sides as far as offloads and continuity. And they change direction well. They've got they get across that advantage line. They clear the ball from the ruck. But what's let them down in the past, that inconsistency, is that just that dropping of the ball or the forward pass, and that just stops that momentum. It just happened to be that Northland were the unlucky ones that struck them when everything went to hand, and they played really, really well. That's what I said last week. They had the potential to win the whole thing, and again, I don't want to sound so biased, but they really do have that potential. They're well coached. They've got strengths all across the park, but they've just got to keep consistent. Now, having said that, there's probably half a dozen teams that could win this championship. That's the beauty about it. Canterbury, we've already said they're the odds-on favourite, probably $1.10 at the TAB to win it, but they're not unbeatable. And again, it'll come down to teams on the day. That's the beauty about this competition. So the teams, beautiful competition, great games. The nature of the competition, I got some question marks. Come on, you fishheads, you can do better than this. Odds, evens, pools, play this team. Give me a break.
Let's just go back to 14 teams and then have a promotion relegation. Let's just go back to the 3 divisions.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. 1976, the first initial NPC championship. Who was the winner?
Bay of Plenty.
Oh, well done. Crabs. Well done.
Yes, the Bay of Plenty Steamers won the initial Rugby Cup in 1976. And
yes.
And then I think we won it once, and then we won it again.
I think you guys won it in 78. It might have been Counties 77. Yeah, Wellington 78, Auckland 79, I think.
Yeah,
I think.
And then Canterbury.
Yeah. Auckland, it was early on, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was. And then, but Wairarapa Bush did get stolen there during the 80s. They could have been in the final. And during COVID, I made them beat Canterbury at Lancaster Park to win the virtual NPC rerun from the 1980s. So that was awesome. So basically, we always sort of end this looking at that current round by saying we've got a game on tomorrow. Taranaki Counties. After Counties' performance against Canterbury last weekend, I'd lean towards the Steelers upsetting Taranaki at Taranaki, and that's on at 7:00 tomorrow night.
Yep. Yeah. Well, again, could go either way. I'm looking at sort of home ground advantage for Taranaki. So they've. It's a hard one, isn't it, to pick these Wednesday night games. We talked about that when North Harbour got smoked by Canterbury, and there was 2 B teams that played midweek. So haven't had a look at the lineups yet. Don't know who's being rested, who's not. But I'm going to go hometown advantage. Taranaki coming off a good win over Manawatu Friday night. They've got that extra day's rest from what counties have got. So I'll choose them 12 and under.
Okay. So we then get straight into round 8. And we're all about Waikato and Wellington and the Ranfurly Shield and how North Harbour's going to go and how Friday night we got Canterbury playing Auckland. I've heard nothing in the media so far about this. I mean, we've got Canterbury playing Auckland. This is one of the biggest games in the NPC calendar.
Like
So that's on
ever. Like
Friday
if you
night.
look at the last 30 years, Canterbury Auckland has been the big game, hasn't it? You know, regardless of your allegiance. Canterbury
Yeah,
v Auckland. It's North v South. You know, Blues v Crusaders, or whatever, wherever you want to look at it. This is big.
it's the game I hate picking because I don't like either team. So these are the games I go, let's have a draw. I can't even have a draw anymore. It's all golden bloody point. This golden point thing has got to stop in round robin. Golden point in the finals, fine, not a problem, brilliant. But during round robin, I hate it. Sorry, I just think it's stupid. If it's a high scoring game, teams can walk away with 3 points each, blah, 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 blah. But this going, oh, we must have a winner. It's not gridiron. We're not here to, we must have a winner on the day. You can have a draw, you know. If the game on Saturday night at Eden Park ends up being 20 all, we don't go to golden point. Or do we?
Yeah, no, look, I agree. I agree. I mean, certainly in the playoffs, you've got to have a golden point. But you imagine if Wellington or Hawke's Bay had scored a converted try in the last minute, and all of a sudden it was 19 all. Now, Ranfurly Shield rules state that if it's a draw, the holder keeps it. But according to this, we'd go to golden point to decide the Ranfurly Shield. I mean, I don't know. I don't know
Last
about
year,
that. Yeah.
well, last year it was a draw against Bay of Plenty, and they went to golden point, and they had to pull out the rule book, and Hawke's Bay got the win and held the shield. If Bay of Plenty had got the point, they would have won the shield in golden point. So last year's game was the first Ranfurly Shield golden point game, and this 80 minutes thing, it's 80 minutes, not 90. You know. So Canterbury Auckland, I'm going for a draw after golden point time. Oh, who's that ringing me? Just had to hang up on someone ringing me.
If I had to put the house on it, I'd put Canterbury. I know I'm boring, but yeah, they're just so clinical, and they get a bit boring after a while because they are so clinical, but they still seem to be doing the business, and even if it ain't too flashy, they're still getting the points. They're at the top of the table. So Canterbury 12 under, but I'd be looking for a really close game. I'd say 2 to 4 points in it. That'd be fantastic.
Well, I mean, after the way Auckland played last week, probably be right there. So we'll quickly run just through the games that we've got coming up, and then we'll jump straight into the All Blacks and the Black Ferns. So then we've got the Battle of the Bays. The winner of this gets the hashtag Bay. Interesting title, trophy. But Bay of Plenty, Hawke's Bay. Will Hawke's Bay bounce back against Bay of Plenty after losing the shield? The pressure's now off them. So I'll go Hawke's Bay to upset Bay of Plenty at home. In wherever it's been played. In Tauranga. So thoughts there?
I'm the opposite with you again here. It'd be good to keep all these notes on all these raps just to see who's actually winning these. So I think Bay of Plenty they're proven to be a very, very good side this year. And again, the hometown advantage. I'm going the opposite way. I just think Hawke's Bay might be a little bit deflated after that effort against Wellington. Two ways to look at it. That could be the monkey off the back, and they can go and express themselves and play with a bit of abandon and have some fun. I just think maybe they're just a bit deflated, and I think Bay of Plenty are in form, and so I'll pick the Bay 12 and under, Bay of Plenty 12 and under to get the hashtag Bay.
Well, the good thing is this is going live out to our Rugby Redefined in Heartland page, and when it finishes, if you do miss the show or you've joined in late, you can watch the replay. So we have it. So okay, we'll put a beer on that one. Tasman hosting Northland. Now I just have to quickly have a look there. Yeah, no, it is at Trafalgar Park. Tasman at home. I'd have to lean towards Tasman there. But then, can we discount the Taniwha?
Can't discount the Taniwha. No, no. I mean, yeah, again, if you're using your brain, then you look at it and you think, yeah, they're two evenly matched teams. Tasman at home could be that little bit of advantage for them. But I mean, yeah, my heart's with Northland for sure. Absolutely, 100%. I'll be back. I'll be barracking for them. Can they do it? Yeah, absolutely, they can. Will they? And if I had to put the house on it, I'd probably be Tasman 6 points.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll say 13 plus then, just to make it a bit more different.
Good on you. Different.
Okay. Different. 4:30 Saturday night.
Mulu. Ole, 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 ole. Mulu.
So, from Waikato cat number 15,332.
Number 873, mate.
What number are you?
873, thank you.
Mr. 873. Okay, so how much are you going to lose by?
We will win by, it'll be close. I think we'll just pull away in the last couple of minutes, mate. I think Damian McKenzie, bit of a shuffle, bit of a goosey, scoring under the posts. Yeah, 10 points. Waikato, 10 points.
I will take a 1-point victory to the Lions.
Ooh, you're not confident,
how they
are you?
do it. They just need to hold on and just get through the 80 minutes and don't be silly. Don't give away stupid yellow cards like Mr. Perinara did right at the end there the other day. It sort of made me go, no. No, I'm all for the Wellington Lions, and yeah, hopefully I can still have the wonderful set behind me because I don't have a Waikato jersey. So I do have a Hamilton Boys school jersey floating around somewhere, but that's there or there. So yeah, Mr. 873 Waikato, of course, me, Wellington all the way. So then we skip a few games and then we just go into Sunday. Manawatu hosting Otago.
Otago.
Yeah, 100% there. North Harbour hosting Taranaki.
Harbour. Easy.
I'm going to go for the Bulls. I'm going to go for Taranaki there just to mix it up a bit. And I've only just
because you're being a dick. That's why there's no scientific basis behind that at all. There's nothing. There's not one. They're playing away. They're playing midweek. They're at the bottom of the table. Give me a reason why you think Taranaki is going to beat Harbour. Just one.
Well, they played. Okay, we know they've got the goods to do it. They went unbeaten last year.
Oh, okay, last year.
And by the way, we're not sponsored by Paladin. I've just noticed we're both wearing Paladin jerseys. True. So we must have both picked them up in the online sale they have, where they flog them off for really cheap, which is bloody brilliant. And a few more. I mean, literally, I'll just quickly say this before we head into the Southern game. I ordered 2 jerseys from South Africa. I got the latest Zimbabwe and Nigerian national jerseys. I got them sent to me, delivered, but brand new, real McCoy, non-fakes, if you understand what I mean, true replicas, and delivered for 135 New Zealand dollars. Yeah, I sent 1 rugby almanac to Queensland, and I was charged $20 to post it. I got 2 jerseys sent to me from South Africa and got charged $15. So, New Zealand Post? Really? How do you work out your postage? I'd love to know. So, anyway, there you go. I got that off my chest. Scotland Counties down in Invercargill.
Yeah, Counties, as we said, they seem to be coming into a bit of form. Counties.
Well, I mean, after their performance against Canterbury, I'd say Counties, but I think that might be the last home. Oh no, they've still got one more home game to go next week against what's that team called? North Harbour. So they've got 2 home games left to do something, Southland. So I'll go for Marty Banks and the Southland boys to get up over counties and then wipe the floor clean with the Harbour boys when they go down and get stuck into those oysters.
I don't know why you don't like me. I mean, what have I done to you?
Nothing, Mr. 873. Absolutely nothing. And then
I think you must be on your whiskey already. It's only what 10:45, 10:50.
Yeah. And then we've got Bay of Plenty Northland next Wednesday, but we can cover that next Tuesday. So
Yeah,
that is NPC done. Right. How crappy, niggly, yep, are the Australians going to be on Saturday night?
very much so. Very much so. So this is a bit of added spice to this Saturday again, isn't it? Even though, I want to come back to that Bledisloe Cup. I'm a big fan of it's a one-off test. You nominate a test, and it should be this one is for the Bledisloe Cup. The last weekend was a rugby championship game. This weekend is a rugby championship game and Bledisloe Cup, and winner takes all. So that's the first thing on that, because again, it's not as if we needed extra spice, but there is extra spice there from what happened last weekend. And credit to Australia. I messaged an Aussie mate of mine, passionate Aussie rugby fan, straight after the game, because that was my initial thoughts, and I just said to him, I said, what a shocker. I said, you guys were really unlucky, and I felt at the time sort of quite hard done by. I said, what a great test match, but I'm feeling for you. And he was ropeable, man. He just said, that's a shocker. The ref ruined it, blah, blah, blah. Of course, then you have a look at it. You have a look at the replays and what have you. And the referee was quite within his rights to blow his whistle for that scrum at the end for time wasting. Quite within his rights, within the rules. Totally think it was the right decision. However, you look at the context of the game. As Dave Rennie said, you look at the context of the game. You've got to get a feel for the game. Man, in the last seconds, I mean, the time up on the clock, you're kidding me. And rugby championship and test match on the line, and you do it then. What if you did it within the first 10 minutes and you're setting the tone for the game and you're stamping your authority on the game? Fantastic. Good job. But man, to do it then, that required a lot of French balls, and he did it. So within the laws of the game, but then you could be, as we've talked about all the time, referees can be blowing it at every ruck for off your feet, for from the side, for not releasing, for something. And it'll be just such a stop-start game, which I thought it was initially anyway. Watching that game was stop-start. The French referee just stamping his authority on it. But that last bit, I just thought it was a shame to come down to that. But is what it is. We got the win, and honestly, I watched it at home, and when we scored that last try, I wasn't jumping up and down like, whoa, yeah. I was just sort of like, I don't know, jury's out again. I'm just like, man, they're just so inconsistent. What's going on? We yellow cards here, and it's like, oh man, So I'm really hoping for a good open game, and the referees just let it flow, and let's have a really, really good game.
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew this would get the people talking, because as Hamish said, he made mistakes all over the place. But I also heard Morgan Turinui on their Sunday show saying, how many times did you get 90 seconds after a try has been scored to do the conversion and all this sort of stuff. The Aussies had their stopwatches out watching those replays. So they all go, they went over 90 seconds. Well, the difference I have there is even if Barrett or whoever was Moanga, whoever was taking the kick, if they had started moving in and they were about to strike the ball and it was 92 seconds, so what? They're already in the motion of kicking. Foley was still standing there with all his buddies behind him screaming at him to kick the ball out, and then he finally went to go and kick it out, and then he got stopped. So, as you said, good balls to the ref to pull that up. But then, as Morgan Turinui said, it gave the All Blacks that moment, and the All Blacks were good enough to seal that moment. But when I look at that and go, hang on, we were up 31-18.
Yeah. 31-13, we were up. Absolutely, 31-13. And when Nick White's kicked that penalty to go 30, we were 37-34 down, I started laughing. I was sitting on the couch just shaking my head, laughing, thinking, what is going on here? I mean, I guess it's foreign territory for us, isn't it, as All Black supporters? We're just like, what the hell's going on? But, so hopefully this weekend the precedence has been set. Time wasting, we don't want to see that. So, again, we just ask for consistency. If the referees are going to be consistently bad, be consistently bad. I think, as Hamish said there, it tends to even out, and you don't like a referee to go through and think, oh, geez, I've just given 6 penalties to New Zealand. I better find one for Australia, because you probably can. And so we don't want the referees dominating games. That's what I'm saying. But our rules are such that we could be blowing it up at every single ruck. And to answer Hamish's question there, personally, I think the Eden Park aura, that mana, the voodoo, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be too much for Aussie, and the All Blacks are finally going to click, and boom, I'm putting my balls on the line, the All Blacks by 30 points. They're going to crush Australia this weekend. I am sorry, but Australian mates, but history will show that we've struggled over there before in the first test and come back here and absolutely smashed in the second.
Totally agree. And someone tried to pull me up for what do you call it? For drama and all that. And I said, at the end of the day, I'm always All Blacks and always 13 plus. But if I was going to go for a point differential, I'd say, only because of the way it's going, I'm going to say by 24 points, and I can just see them being like chihuahuas, the Australians, like little rat dogs. I can just hear them in the ear. I don't even know who the referee is yet, but the poor referee, he's got to get some earplugs in, because he's going to have these Aussies going like little chainsaws in his ear all game. Now, and they'll be pulling up all the time keeping. They'll be pulling up that, and if that happens, the referee, whomever it is, has actually got to turn around and say, "Pull your head in," because at the end of the day, it's back chatting the referee. So, do we see all these yellow cards all of a sudden coming out? Is it the Aussies going, "Oh, World Rugby's wanting New Zealand back up the top. Don't worry about Australia, 5th ranked sport in the country over there." World Rugby strong when All Black Rugby strong. We've got them. You can see all the excuses already before the game's even kicked off.
Yep.
So I'm just hoping that Dave Rennie gets these Australians clear-headed. I mean, we're still wondering how poor old Nick White's moustache is, if it's out of its cast yet, after he broke 3 follicles against South Africa. So, the Australians have a chip on their shoulder, and I think that's going to be their downturn thing. They're upcoming. They're going to go into this game with more than the game on their mind. They're going to still think we got robbed last week, and I think that's going to backfire on them. And this will show how good Dave Rennie is at controlling their emotions.
Yeah, control the controllables, as coaches will say, and so I'm pretty sure Dave Rennie will be all over that this week. So it will be interesting. I think it's another Northern Hemisphere ref. It's not the same referee, obviously, but it is a different one, but it is a Northern Hemisphere ref. So again, hopefully that interpretation is the key thing for me. Just let the game flow, and let's have a really awesome open game of rugby. Hopefully the weather's going to hold off, and as we said, here's to rugby, man. Bring it on. It's going to be it'll be epic, and I just wish it was for the Bledisloe Cup this weekend. That would put some extra spots in it, for sure. Well,
the good news is, though, before that, we the curtain raiser is the Black Ferns taking on Japan. Japan is coached by, I believe, Leslie McKenzie, who was the previous RDO at Wanganui, American lass, Canadian, one of the two. I hope she's not watching this and get all grumpy at me. I think she's American, but so she was involved with Wanganui and Heartland, and then went up to Japan and took over the Japanese women's sevens team, and now she's head coach of the far as I'm aware, head coach of the Japanese Sakura, they're known as. I think that this will be a great game. Has the Black Ferns played Japan before?
No, not to my knowledge, they haven't. And this is a put together game at the last. I wouldn't say last minute, but certainly wasn't part of the schedule for the year. I think it's a great move by NZRU and Japan to get these two teams together, because I did feel that the Black Ferns might be heading into this World Cup a little bit underdone. They've played Australia plenty of times, and they've only played, they played that, was it like the Quad Series, USA, Canada, but really nothing much else. And so the fact that they've played Australia probably, 3 times, it's good to be able to play Japan. Another style, just another team to see how they can express themselves a bit more with their game plan. And Japan beat Australia, remember, only a few weeks back. So it's not going to be a walkover for the Black Ferns, and it is a good opportunity to just get them into that role again as they head into that opening game of the World Cup, which is incidentally against Australia.
At Eden Park, exactly.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how it all goes. So but basically, end of the day, we've got the All Blacks winning. So we're looking at the 3 tries bonus, more than 3 tries, because that's what we need to win the rugby championship. So because then it all comes down to if we can pick up that bonus point win, i.e., this is where we went wrong last weekend. We missed out on that bonus point. We could have wrapped up the whole season with just a win this week. So the All Blacks do need a bonus point win, because in South Africa will definitely walk away with 5 points against Argentina. Or so you would think. The way the competition's going, is that a given?
Well, I think having Artie back is going to be huge. We really lacked that punch that he had at 8. I felt Hoskins Satutu probably let himself down a bit. He didn't stamp himself with the authority that we'd expect from an All Black number 8. He's obviously still a work in progress. They've still got to keep him in the system and just give him game time. He certainly had a brain explosion, didn't he, when he had that open line and kicked the ball away. So little things like that I think that Artie can just bring that solidity, the seniority, the experience back at the back of the scrum. So then you look at your number 6 as well. I mean, I'm not too sure who's available, but is Scott Barrett really now the answer there? Shannon Frizzell, I think, is probably our best 6. Is it time to give Luke Jacobson a shot at 6? So that'll be interesting to see what team we come out with. And we talked about already number 12. So I think they'll keep the majority of that team, and I think we can definitely come away with a good win.
Yeah. So basically, if that happens and we get the bonus point, well, really, I think South Africa have to win by 1 million points to beat us on differential. So so let's just lock it up, get the bonus point, and even if they end up playing that last 20 minutes, shutting the game down. If we've got the bonus point, just defend. I'd like to see that, because that's where the All Blacks have to make up their improve their defence. I mean, too often we've seen too many points scored in quick succession. So they really need to get their head around that before going to the Northern Hemisphere anyway. But otherwise, that's our hour up, Jeff. Thank you to Kevin, Des, Hamish, and everyone else for watching. As I said, we've got some big news coming up. And you might have seen across the bottom there that we are also bringing this in association with VaultRugby.com and something that Jeff and I are working on, the Health and Sports Network, which is another little side issue we've got going. So if you need to know anything about what we're doing there, head to VaultRugby.com or Jeff's website, CairoVault.co.nz, and we'll catch us all again next Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Thank you all for watching.